It's another Wednesday night. It happens way too fast, but we love it. We love bringing it to you each and every week. This week, we're starting off again with a little UFL update. We'll try and keep it a little bit shorter than what we did last week, but we got our boy Brett going to bring you up to speed. What else we got, Eric?
Got a little Brian Kelly LSU talk, a little Belichick. Is he staying with the Tar Heels or maybe going back to the NFL and the Giants? There's some talk there. We've got all the games, the big pick'ems. And then in the second half of the show, we got the NFL. We got Philly. We got Green Bay. We got the Bengals. We got the Giants. We got the Bears. We got the Vikings. Oh, we have a big game between you and I this week.
Yes, we do.
And Brett.
I may be wearing the hat with sunglasses, smoking the cigar once again. We'll see.
Oh, my
But let's quit
God.
talking. Let's get started. Let's rip that Band-Aid off.
And that's the bottom line. You want a war? You're going to get one.
The queen rise to the top, oh yeah.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Hard work pays off. Dreams come true. Bad times don't last, but bad guys do.
You know,
Yes.
I meant to do this last week because I've had quite a few people ask me, "Gosh, you guys get paid to do your show or you do this?" I said, we do it for fun, man. We get to talk football. It's difficult to get people to understand, kind of what the game of football means. And I can sum it up in this. I meant to do this last week, but that's what the game of football means. That was after our first playoff win this year. That's my senior boy on the one side, and the taller one is my sophomore boy. And, the season has since come to an end, and there's a better than outside chance that for every one of us that ever played this game, that's the last time that my senior is going to take off his pads. So as close as we can get to the game is doing things like this. We never know when it's going to be the last time, but there's always a last time. It's the one sport. People always wonder, why do guys get so into football? And, my wife is always like, football again? Oh, my God. But it's like, listen, I can golf the rest of my life. I've played slow pitch, old man basketball, anything that I used to play in school. But there's one thing I haven't done since my last game as a senior, and that was put the pads back on. So I think that kind of sums it up as to why guys love the game of football and are willing to sit here and talk about it for, like we do every week on Wednesday, right?
And I would have said the only one we pay is Brett. So
Yeah.
I mean, we all do this for the love of the game, but we had to get out the
Yeah.
We had to show Brett a few bills.
We had to use all of our nil money on Brett, you know. So I mean, any of the nil money that the bottom line has to be used for Brett. But yeah, it's just, you know, this picture, I meant to do it last week, but this picture is why old guys like us, well, I'm in the middle and there's Brett and KJ, but old guys like you and Chad, you know, we want to talk football because it's been a long time since we've been able to put the pads on. So yeah, let's bring on Brett the Hitman for our quick UFL update, Brett. Before we put up the information you're going to share, Ed, you've got a little pick here.
Yeah, I was going to, you know, as we talk about the marketing change this year, it was kind of nice. You got the St. Louis City Street Division came out with their sweeper, and look at that. You got the old St. Louis Battlehawks logo on it. Dave Burnett posted that on the St. Louis Battlehawk tailgating page, and Jerry Bowen, one of the super fans of the Battlehawks, sent me a messenger today to let me to make sure I made reference to that picture. But let's just say the last couple of years before this year, that would have never happened. Pretty sporting, man. So
yeah,
if they're already putting it on their city vehicles, what's it going to be like by the time the season gets here? So just a quick tidbit before we get Brett moving.
All right, Brett. Welcome, buddy. You do have
fellas.
You do have a little UFL news for us, so let's quickly get into it.
Yeah, I kind of slipped last night. I made a post on UFL fans, I guess about a week and a half ago. Hearing a lot of rumblings about Moose and little rumblings about Fox. Well, we were right about one of them. Moose is out. Here's a statement that the league released today. I found out last night that it was 100% done deal, and I had planned on posting it last night on X and Facebook. Then I was going to do it this morning on the way to work. Before I knew it, I got to work. Hell, the league had done released it, 30 minutes before. It is what it is, but Moose is gone. They did not renew his contract. From what I gather, the last couple of years since the merger, there was behind-the-scenes issues between him and Russ Brandon. I also heard some stories today that on the player operations, what Russ Brandon is now in charge of, and the player development, all that good stuff, from what I was told, it was Moose's way or the highway. Well, now we've got a new investor, Mike Rapoli, and he's making the day-to-day decision. So that obviously was not going to work. A lot of the XFL fans didn't like Moose because he was so controlling about having the USFL kickoff, along with some other decisions he made. Also, he was supposedly part of the USFL original season to where they were doing tickets for $10 per person, which really lowered it ended up having a reverse effect on the USFL at their home stadiums moving forward. So that's really all I got. Unfortunately, Moose is out. He was with the AAF, with the San Antonio. Oh my goodness, what was their name with the AAF? Commanders, San Antonio Commanders, and he was with the USFL for 2 years. Then he was with the XFL for 2 years. So Moose is spring football. I hate it. I met him in Canton, met him in Birmingham, talked to him multiple times, but that's for another UFL night to talk about. That's all I got.
Well, I mean, since we got you here, I guess the biggest question that people that are sad to see Moose go, that's fine. I like Moose, but is it going to really affect the UFL?
No. Now, I'm an independent UFL fan. We've already talked about this tribal stuff between the USFL and the XFL and all that nonsense. We're one league now. But I was very fond of Moose. He was very, very kind and friendly to me in Canton. I talked to him multiple times before and after the game at the team hotel. I talked to him multiple times in Birmingham. People would try to introduce me to him, and Moose would just grin, and he would say, I know Brett. And we had a pretty lengthy conversation last November, about starting the season earlier, which I've been very adamant about, and doing a regional draft. And that was the first conversation I had with him to where I kind of walked away disappointed. Didn't seem like he was really open to the idea that he had done a 360. Defended Fox Sports about their scheduling, and then turned around and said it wasn't Fox Sports, and then wanted to argue with me about the regional draft, and just on and on and on. And like I said, when I walked away that night, and me and Marty talked about it, and a couple other people that I divulged conversation to, it worried me. After having that conversation, that was the first time I was worried after talking to him. And last year was what it was.
Well, I think Rapoli's a free thinker.
Yeah.
So working with somebody who's pretty set in their ways, or I'm not going to budge on much, probably isn't going to go with him. So
no,
it is what it is. So anything else? We got to cut the.
Got some exciting news coming up by the end of the month. Should have uniforms in December. On and on and on.
So
We already said
Yes, one more thing, fellas. Rosters, we were all scared that they were fixing to flip the rosters. So if you're fans of Butler, some of the guys with St. Louis, if you're fans with Jamar of Birmingham, Tiamu in D.C., King of Spring in Arlington, it was announced that these rosters are not going to be changed or altered at this point. So if you've got some favorite players on the team, Bellamy with the DC Defenders, looks like the teams are going to stay the same except for whatever they add moving forward, which was excellent news.
so.
All right.
We've already saved over 15 minutes off last week. So
yeah, right. So
we're humming.
since we got Brett on the screen already, we're going to go right into college, and we're going to go right into his SEC power rankings for the week. So take it away, Brett.
SEC. That's it. Now, here's where I'm at. Texas A&M, until they take an L, you've got to have them at 1. Most people that know me or see me on the show know I'm a Bama fan. I literally live 5 miles from Bryant-Denny Stadium. I'm not pleased at all with what I've seen the last 2 weeks on the field, and it's very concerning. Me and a few close friends have talked, and this Oklahoma game this weekend is going to be a problem. It seems like Alabama's going backwards, especially offensively. Georgia and Ole Miss and some of these other teams seem to be improving. That's why I dropped Bama to 4, behind Georgia and behind Ole Miss. I know I'm probably the only one that did that, but if you watch the games, it kind of makes sense. Texas at 5, OU at 6. Got an upset special this weekend that kind of involves one of these teams up here, one of the top 5. Oklahoma and Texas, is still in the playoff battle. Texas got a huge game with Georgia this weekend. Then they play the Aggies at the end of the season. Vanderbilt, still Vanderbilt. Look, what did we say before the season started? That's a team we can see winning 8-9 games. They went out, they're going to be 10-2. I mean, they're already at 8 wins now, somewhere in that ballpark. Very, very impressive. Got to give it to Pavia. He needs to quit hanging out and partying with old Johnny Football. I don't know if y'all saw that, but yeah, he was out at the bar hanging out. That's the last thing he needs to do. Now, I know Pavia is 34 years old and all, and he's legal.
So
hell, he's about as old as Johnny Football.
So question for you, Brett, as we talk about the college football playoffs and we talk about how teams that get that third loss, which is the kiss of death,
Right.
get themselves eliminated. You got Texas sitting here at number 5 in your rankings, but they're number 10 overall in the country, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
They started off against Ohio State and lost by a touchdown. At the time, everybody thought, Texas really looks bad and they're going to have a bad season. They kind of put things together, but they're sitting there at 2 losses and now they've got to play Georgia this week, and they've got Texas A&M to go farther down the line. So you tell me, if they get a third loss, say they go 1-1 against Georgia and Texas A&M, and they end up with 3 losses, and they're ranked 10th right now, are they worthy of being in the college football playoffs despite a 3-loss season?
Well, we love those opening game matchups where you got Texas and Ohio State and Alabama and what we thought was Florida State ended up just being, I guess, Alabama's daddy this year, and they forgot they had 11 more games. We don't necessarily need to penalize schools for having those games, in my opinion, especially week 1 and you're on the road in Columbus, the defending national champion. I'm not really counting that against Texas. I know it's an L. I know it is. But, and to answer your question directly, if they have 3 losses, it all depends on what all these other teams are doing in the other conferences. Do I think they're deserving? This Texas team is a lot better than what they were a few weeks ago. But, I mean, you can't change records and just say, these games don't count. I'm torn on that subject. Of course, Texas is absolutely in if they beat Georgia and beat A&M. They'll be 10-2 and have a pretty good strength of schedule.
I don't think we need to probably go through the back half of that, even though I do think that there is gaining some more traction from Eli Drinkowitz going to Penn State from Missouri. Have you heard that, Brett?
Man, I've heard so much. I mean, it's something every day. The hot name with Auburn is the Tulane coach, and it escapes me. What's the guy at Tulane?
Is that the
head coach? I can't think of his name. Somebody help me out in the comments.
It's like Sumdale or
You would think he would be a name that would definitely be popping around LSU, but LSU's got so many problems, which we'll cover later. I don't know what's going on with their coaching search. Drinkowitz, I would be shocked if he stayed at Missouri. Don't you guys kind of feel like he might have hit his ceiling there, considering the powerhouses that are A&M, Georgia, Alabama, Texas, Oklahoma, Florida will be back, LSU will be back. I mean, is Missouri someone, Ed, that you think could hang out in the top 3 of the SEC every year? I mean, do they have the money?
I kind of get the idea, in my own mind anyway, watching the post-game press conferences that he always has. Now that they started hot, but now they've kind of lost some close games. They kind of got their doors blown off last week against Texas A&M. But it seems to be in the press conferences a vibe of, come on, man, can't you guys do better than this? I mean, it's got to be better than this. And I kind of get the idea with his attitude when he answers questions like this is that, hey, this is as good as it's going to get. And if you don't like it, too bad. He's kind of got that attitude of, like you say, he's maybe brought Missouri to a point where, with the donors, with the money there is in Missouri and whatnot, this is probably the best Missouri's ever going to get. So I agree. If he wants to continue to grow in his head coaching career, this is a good year to maybe move on to one of the bigger colleges and where he's got more at his disposal.
I mean, just look at the programs in the power rankings. I mean, from top to bottom, from historic factor, Tennessee was in the playoffs last year. They're definitely trending to going to be an 8, 10, 11 win team every year, more likely on the 10 win side. Florida will come back. LSU will be back. Auburn will be formidable again. Georgia's not going anywhere. Texas not going anywhere. Oklahoma's not going anywhere. The Aggies with the oil money's not going anywhere. Alabama. I mean, again, I'm not knocking Missouri, and I'm not knocking Drinkowitz. If I was a Penn State fan, I would be excited about Drinkowitz. He's done a hell of a job up there.
He's got the energy, man. I gotta hand it to him. I mean, he come into Missouri pretty much an unknown. for the most part. He wasn't a big name coming in.
Right.
He really turned the program around. I mean, they really needed a shot in the arm, and he came in and definitely gave them a spark for sure.
Yeah.
Could we see that potentially with NIL and the amount of money that's flowing to some of these schools, that a Missouri, heck, even pick your school here, if all of a sudden they've got really good teams and they say to themselves, geez, we could be making the playoffs if we weren't number 5 in the SEC every year. Could we see some of this? I'm just speculating. Could we see this backfire a little bit on these conferences and some of these teams saying, listen, we want out of the SEC?
Well, from a competitive standpoint, absolutely, but we all know what talks.
Right.
Yeah.
And what walks, and it's money.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what the distribution was last year with the SEC schools, but it's equally dispersed, like I'm sure it is in all the other conferences. And they do pretty well financially in the SEC. And that's why I don't see Missouri or some of these other schools getting out of the conference anytime soon. But they're going to really have to figure out, are they going to pull a Signetti like Indiana and just pay him $10, $12 million to where he's got to stay? You can do that, and he can continue to win 8 to 10 games a year. But will they ever be a playoff national championship contender against these titans in this conference?
Well, you talk about just look at Mizzou's stadium. When they first went into the SEC compared to now, they almost automatically started construction on that stadium. They closed in one of the whole end zones and put seating in. You're seeing these SEC colleges, their attendance at these games is over 100,000. I mean, just figure the amount of money that there is in the SEC. I doubt very seriously, especially if you're a mid-range to upper half team, you're not going anywhere. There's just too much money involved.
I mean, it's hard to explain to folks, but with most of these schools, I go A&M, Georgia, Ole Miss, Alabama, Texas, Oklahoma, LSU, Florida, Auburn. Football's life to those schools. I mean, there's God, there's family, and then there's football. And I mean, I don't know how Missouri will be able to compete with that moving forward. I don't know where they would get their funding from. I mean, I know it's a big school. I don't know who some of their big wigs are. I don't think they have a Mike Rapoli running around up there, with St. John's. But, I mean, it's a fantastic question. And, again, that goes back to what Ed's brought up a lot of times, or Eric has, that what are these smaller schools going to do? Guys, we've already seen it with Texas Tech. Texas Tech was only half-assed relevant when the Pirate was there. Right. Rest in peace. And now, look at their recruiting in the transfer portal last year. And then look at the recruiting and transfer portal this year. And we've seen them on the field. They went from nothing in 2 years to being a playoff contender. And that's not – I expect SMU to start doing that as well. TCU, any of those big Texas schools with that oil money. I don't know what the Iowa States and the Missouris and the South Carolinas and the Arkansas will be able to do to combat that.
They won't. They become irrelevant. It's just plain fact of the matter.
But, we've all seen coaching matters. Look at LSU, the top 10 recruiting every year. And I'm telling you, if Brian Kelly was on that sideline last Saturday, Alabama stomps that ass. But I knew when Brian Kelly left, I knew they were going to be a problem. I knew it because the way he treated and talked to the players and the assistant coaches, I'm sure it was like a guerrilla off their back
Right.
when he finally walked out of the building. I know everybody just went, "Ooh." Now let's play some football. And
Yeah.
you saw that Saturday. They gave Alabama everything they wanted.
Yeah. All right. Let's bring Chad on if he's ready. We'll bring Chad on to look at the Big Ten this week. Still got Indiana in the top spot. Ooh. But
What's up, boys? After having listened to Ed talk for 15 minutes about his 1B team, the Missouri Tigers, I thought we were tightening it up tonight, but I guess we're just going to just waste time on nothing anybody wants to talk about. Okay. Yes, Indiana's still at the top spot. They went into Penn State. This was Penn State's big game of the year. Penn State had to throw a shot at somebody. It's hard to go into the Beaver and then bring the heavy wood. They got out of there with a win, and at this point, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Ohio State rolled on Purdue. Everybody knew that was going to happen. As I predicted, Oregon, I didn't predict Oregon was necessarily going to win, but I knew that Iowa, between the weather and that defense, was going to pull Oregon down and make them play their ugly, disgusting brand of football. Between that game and Monday night's game, those are two of the ugliest freaking games of football I have watched in 25 years.
Cannot argue with you on that.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, at halftime, I had to go for a walk. I
Oh,
went outside and I walked the neighborhood for a while because I was just, if Iowa had any sense of any kind of offense whatsoever, that game would have been in hand. But
What shocks me every year with Iowa, though, is we say the same thing year over year. The defense is elite. If we only had any offense, it's like
he's got that defensive coach should be in the Hall of Fame. He's got like 2 and 3 star guys, and they go out and they, especially in Iowa City, they play like the 2000 Miami Hurricane defense or something. It's ridiculous. And it's such an ugly brand. It makes me want to vomit watching them play football.
Iowa, every yard that Iowa gets on offense has to happen. And in the third quarter, when they got down to the 11-yard line and they fumbled the ball away, you knew the writing was on the wall because, oh my God, when they got down to the 11, what did it take them 35 plays to get there? You know what I mean? It just isn't. Oh God.
It's so always. It seems like with Iowa, it's always 3rd and 2, and then a first down, and then 3rd and 3 and a first down, and then maybe 3rd and 1 and a first down, and they haven't even crossed midfield yet. Like it's just the craziest, just the craziest philosophy offensively. But you're right, Chad. That's all Iowa wants to do. They want to muck it up. They want to make it look ugly. They want to bring you down to their offensive level and then hope their defense can do it. And the defense.
And that worked. That was working perfectly. Iowa takes the lead late in the fourth quarter.
Let's be careful how we use the word perfectly.
They only needed
let's be careful.
Stop. That last possession that Oregon had, the defense had to stop them, and we had the game. And
let's just be careful how we use perfectly. That's all I ask.
All right.
Okay. So anyway, Oregon gets the win that's a tough game to come in and do. USC, Northwestern goes out there and USC, they beat them. It was bad. Iowa doesn't drop because they did what they do. They play solid defense. They just muck it up. We just went through it. So they're right there at 5. You got Michigan. Michigan's playing well. I mean, they had last week off, but they're looking pretty good. So much better than it did those first couple of weeks. Minnesota, these teams right here, Minnesota, Washington, Nebraska, Illinois, Just throw them all in a hat, pull them out.
Illinois is a major disappointment this year. I think they had hopes of doing a lot better than what their season turned out to be.
Yeah, but it's also, it's tough. It's tough to build that program back up. I mean, it's not easy. That was down in the dregs of the Big Ten a couple of years ago, and they're slowly digging that thing out. But anyway, Nebraska, they did just enough to win another close game. They're starting to win close games, and now they just need to try and beat a ranked team. So we'll see if they can do that. But anyway, that's about nobody else really worth talking about. UCLA showed some promise there for a few weeks, and now they're kind of falling back again. But it'll be interesting to see now that Penn State's over the firing, and now they're kind of settled in. Let's see if that talent starts asserting itself on the field like they did this last week. We'll see if they can still start playing some really good football. Nebraska's got to play them here pretty soon, and I'm not excited about that either. So,
all right, let's bring in KJ. Let's start with the ACC, Ed. How about that? KJ, what's up, bud? You get to start with the ACC.
Oh, the good old that's the best way I can describe it. Haven't had much change, obviously, at the top. A little bit of shuffling between Virginia and Pitt. Cavaliers had their loss this past weekend. I think that at least made a point. Wake Forest, surprising. I think we talked about that last week. The Demon Deacons seem to be like, one week they play at their full potential, the next week they fall flat. It's really, there's a lot of teams within the ACC, I think, that are juxtaposed, especially in the middle there, on knowing truly who's at the top. But Georgia Tech, I've still got in the number one spot. I moved up SMU, even though their win wasn't super great this week. I felt like, considering the fact that the Cardinals couldn't pull it out in overtime against California, had to give them a little bit of a deduct there for that. The ones that were hard for me to pick, I think, between North Carolina, Wake Forest, and Virginia Tech, all three of them are kind of neck and neck in the standings. They're in conference records, and as you'll see when we roll into the Big 12, you've almost got this kind of juxtapose. One eats the tail of another, which eats the tail of another, and you get this kind of circle thing where you can't really put them, on black and white for truth, top to bottom in any direct order, and argue against anyone that would mix it up. So outside of that, it kind of sits where it sits. I don't think that anybody really past Miami, obviously, and that's even going on a stretch, has a chance at making it into the CFP, even with the number of weeks we have left in the season. But that's just my point of view on kind of how the ACC sits right now. So
don't sleep on Miami.
Yeah,
they're 7-2.
But
I also heard today that depending on how Georgia Tech finishes the season, you could possibly see no ACC teams make the college football playoffs.
I will say it was I was there in person at the game on Saturday in Miami, and I don't think the buddies I went down with, we actually ended up leaving, I think, at halftime because it was literally the most boring college. I say boring. There were a couple exciting play moments, but I have yet to go to a college game where it's essentially 0-0 at halftime in God knows how long, if ever, in my history as a sports fan. Just for it to take so long for them to score, I guess, was so crazy to me. But neither here nor there. So,
Kind of sounds like Monday night's game, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Ugh. All right, Big 12, take it away.
So for Big 12, obviously, nobody can argue any longer anything questioning about Texas Tech. It's just the fact of the matter. They are at the top. They made a dominant win over BYU. To the Cougars' credit, they did lose by the lowest scoring margin. That was something I looked at over all the kind of past top 4 or 5 teams we have in the conference. that have played the Red Raiders. BYU has done the best in terms of keeping the margin the lowest, albeit only in single-digit differences. But here it is. It is what it is. Still got them at the top, kind of in consideration of that. I definitely moved Utah up because they had a dominant win over the Bearcats this past weekend. And then kind of just more comparing everybody below Houston. Didn't give them any form of promotion, obviously, because it was a very close win against UCF. Arguably, I think there were mistakes on both sides of the ball in that game. And while I do think they played hard in certain moments, the Knights definitely gave up some plays that really aided in our victory on Friday night. So that's where things sit on the top half of the conference. Moving down, as I mentioned for the ACC side, if you really look at, I think it's Kansas State through like Baylor / Iowa State, those kind of middle four teams you can, put in it's almost any order you want, just due to the kind of juxtapose wins and losses they've had against one another. I'm keeping Arizona State, the Sun Devils, where they're at, just more in consideration of the upset win they got against Texas Tech and their overall record. And then I don't think the positions changed from my rankings last week with West Virginia and Colorado, but that was a potential for those to flip-flop. Prime just couldn't get it done, unfortunately, and the Mountaineers were successful in their home game against Colorado, so they sit where they are at. In my eyes, I mean, I don't think anybody outside of maybe Utah and Cincinnati can still make a play for that championship slot. I know they're technically tied with us, but with the tie-breaking procedures and everything, I think it's kind of a sure bet that it's really between the top four now in the conference for any of them to have a chance to get up there with Tech. So
Eric, I got a question for you. This is the second year in a row for Iowa State, and it's kind of become a trend. Iowa State starts hot out of the box, climbs the rankings, and then midseason they seem like they get decimated with injuries, and then they slide. So, this has happened 2 years in a row now. So you got to ask yourself, is it, after last year you could have said, it's dumb luck. Now it's happened 2 years in a row. Is there something within Iowa State's program that's flawed? Is it a depth problem? What is it exactly that's making Iowa State 2 years in a row now fall off the face of the earth?
That's a good question. The problem, to answer your depth problem, we're down to true freshmen. So, the depth problem actually got blown through quite early when we lost our starting corners and then lost 2 more corners and then started true freshmen the back end. For us to go into TCU this week and win the game, we were down 6 of our 11 starting defensive players.
Wasn't that the defense that was decimated last year too?
The part of the defense that was decimated the most last year was the linebackers. We were down to true freshmen at the linebacker position, which is a pretty important position in our defense as far as coverages and run protection, stuff like that. They got to be able to recognize it. But, I don't know. I don't know what the problem is. We've had, even though we made the Big 12 championship last year, it was by miracle that we were able to get there. Some of the games that we won, with the injuries that we had were nothing short of miracle. This year, we're losing those games because now you're talking about corners. You're talking about coverage guys. And, where have we gotten killed at? We've gotten killed in the passing games. And it just is what it is. I don't know what the problem is, if it's a strength and conditioning thing, if it's a, whatever part, you're dealing with there. But it really has been 2 years in a row where, like I said, we beat TCU, who, apparently KJ has above Iowa State with, 6 of our starting defensive guys out. And so I don't know what the answer is. It just sucks. You know, it's one thing if you're getting beat with your team and your team is what it is. And I know everybody has injuries, but man, you take any good team, I don't care who it is, and you take 6 of their defensive starters out, you're going to have issues. I don't care who it is. You know, the depth just isn't there anymore for a lot of these teams. And you know, when you're not talking about teams that have boatloads of nil money and boatloads of money to be thrown around to players, the depth chart gets real thin after the starting guy goes down. So, I mean, I can't even be mad about it anymore simply because there's nothing you can do about it. You know, injuries happen and what do you do? So, all right, let's bring Chad back. Let's take a look at where we sit college football wise. I should have had you put this. Here's the top 25 real quick. For college football, I did see they flip-flop Indiana and Ohio State. You know, as soon as we bring Brett back, my big question is, are Indiana, I'll ask you guys this, is Indiana and Ohio State both teams better than Texas A&M?
That's one thing I feel like I would throw a wrench at, so to speak. I mean, with this being as top heavy as I think more than just myself would agree that the Big Ten appears to be, I think you could definitely at least partially make the argument that, you know, and it even goes to speak on how they're going to seed it when the final CFP rankings come out at the end of the season. You know, they're going to have the top 4 be the conference champs more than likely of every one of the conferences, or at least
I hope not
3 out of the 4, but we'll see.
I hope not. Well,
yeah.
I look at it like this. I think Ohio State is the best team in the country. I really do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think if Indiana and Texas A&M played today, I think I would have to take Texas A&M. I mean, you know, Indiana plays Iowa. They squeak out a win. They squeaked out a last-second win basically against Penn State this week. Texas A&M is not squeaking out wins like that. And they're running through an SEC schedule. And so, I mean, I guess that would be the only question I would have. I mean, I love Indiana. I love the story and how Cignetti's got it, but
they beat Notre Dame, who you routinely lambast, 41-40. So they squeaked one out there.
That was week 2, was it not, Chad?
yeah, it was.
That's week 3.
Okay.
Week 3. They barely beat Auburn, 16-10. That's squeaking one out. Arkansas, they barely beat Arkansas, 45-42. Arkansas.
Okay.
So, I mean, let's slow down.
Schedule
Would you take Indiana today if they play?
Yeah.
I don't know, Brett.
Would you be willing to acknowledge, at least from a historic perspective, Chad, that they've faced the similar ailment that Penn State has when it comes to facing like top 10 ranked opponents?
Indiana?
Yeah, I thought in terms of seasons, I'm looking seasons past is what I'm getting at, I guess, so to speak.
Well, yeah, I mean, Indiana
End of the year,
outside of last year, they've been irrelevant for the last 105 years. So, yeah, historically, yeah, they haven't been very good. But I mean, Illinois is not good, but when they played Illinois was ranked 9th in the country. They beat Illinois. They beat number 3 Oregon. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, they got Wisconsin and Purdue yet. They beat Penn State, beat UCLA. So I think you guys, will they beat Texas A&M? Not necessarily. But I mean, just to dismiss it out of hand, I think is a little.
Oh, I'm not dismissing out of hand. I'm just saying if I believe
that was pretty out of hand.
No, it wasn't. It was Texas A&M. If Texas A&M played Indiana today, I believe Texas A&M wins. Brett, what do you think?
That's fine. You could say that.
Ooh, neutral site.
It
Yep.
won't be.
It'd be a close one. I mean, you got to give Texas A&M the advantage in the trenches. And that you can't discount what their coach has done there and what he did at Duke. It would be very close. I think it would be a very entertaining game. It might be a game we get to see here in the next month or so.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Alabama and 4, Georgia, Texas Tech, Ole Miss, Oregon, Notre Dame. Notre Dame in 9th. I mean,
Does Texas Tech deserve to be in front of Ole Miss?
I think Tech's going to be a real problem.
Okay.
I really do.
Tech's look good.
I'm not saying they haven't, but I mean,
You'd like to see him go up against a Georgia or somebody like that to see really where they're at right now. Because let's be honest, guys, do we really know? I mean, they passed the eye test,
Right.
pretty much. I mean,
The thing that you could do, I would say, in ranking them comparatively to, say, like an Arizona State from last year, is I don't know if the Sun Devils last season were running through teams to the dominant scoring margin degree that the Red Raiders are in nearly every game.
no, I'm with you there.
I literally have them written down here, like BYU being the one that's given them the hardest play, if you will, outside of their one loss to Arizona State this season. They lost by 22 points. UH was 24, Utah was 24, and then oddballly enough, Kansas, which is sitting at the middle of the pack, was at 23. So they've not only beaten their teams, it's not been close margins. So I guess, there is still the question mark, to your point, Brett, of can they stand up with the top half of the SEC, for instance? But at the same token, they're not like a typical Big 12 team that's skating by with wins. And everybody's going to throw the darts at the board to say, these guys are just good in their conference, but that doesn't mean squat, So
You know what would be a fantastic matchup right now to me with everybody we've kind of discussed? Oregon and Texas Tech.
Yeah.
That would be
You know what would be an even better
Texas
Tech would be an even better game would be freaking the Notre Dame Fighting Irish playing in any conference and having to battle it out like the rest of these teams. That's what it would be, John David, is that Notre Dame didn't play the Sisters of the Poor and they've got them clear up at number 9. That's where they would be. Like jump into the Big Ten. Let's see Notre Dame play Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon. Oh, no, wait. Who you got this week?
We'll take the little 12 over no 12. How about that? Big boys?
Yeah. How about you jump into a conference once? Instead of sitting there saying, we don't need to. Makes me want to throw up. Who's Notre Dame got this week? Army? They
I knew I should have got my popcorn.
I think Notre Dame's got the Coast Guard, and they've got Buena Vista University, which plays right up the road here, D3 to play yet. And I think they got one more game, maybe against Morningside College in Sioux City. So,
if you were ever on John David's good side, that ship has sailed.
You know what? I don't want to be on his good side with all the crap comments he makes. Like, I'm done with it. Like, I'm just done with it.
Like a scorned lover.
Who's Notre Dame got left?
Pitt, Syracuse, and Stanford.
Oh, my gosh.
Syracuse at home at Stanford.
That's right. I forgot.
I will say this.
This isn't your just slightly older than you uncle Stanford. This isn't very good, Stanford.
No, this is not Harbaugh Stanford. No.
He wants to bag. He bags on the Big 12 all the time. He says Texas Tech plays in the Little 12. Blah 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 blah. And then you look at the schedule Notre Dame plays, and it's like Texas. Oh, I didn't want to.
All right. Notre Dame has got the best loss of the season, other than Georgia losing to Alabama and that nail biter. Notre Dame gave Texas A&M all they wanted for pretty much the whole game, and I know they lost. I'm aware. I watched it. I'm just trying. I've got your back, John David. Hey,
Knock it off, Brett. I'll mute you. Here is the current college football playoff predictions.
Oh my God. I can't take these people seriously when they put UNT in the
North Texas.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Is that who that is?
That's
That is
retarded.
North Texas.
Yeah.
That is the appropriate word, KJ.
I'm the biggest.
That's
I'm the
retarded.
I'm the
And you
biggest
should-
underdog
you should-
advocate, and that's not even a good underdog selection for the 12th.
No, that's
And you
just
should put the word "fucking" in front of that retarded.
Easy.
That is stupid.
To me, that takes away all credibility of the playoff system.
Yeah.
look, they've got to blow this up. They've just got to blow this up and start all over. No one can take that right there serious. You know, when I first saw it, what was it last night? I was like, is that Tulane? I'm like, oh, screw it. I ain't worried about it. I didn't know that was North Texas. What is their record?
They're in the top, but that's stupid.
What is their record?
They sprint the
I don't know.
schedule compared to
cares?
like Memphis, Navy
This
is
is
not
nothing
in
to
the
do with the NCAA. This, the not regulating name and likeness and the portal. These are the three things that are going to kill the NCAA, and they refuse to fix any of those things. They won't
Does anybody have an
one of them.
idea what would happen to North Texas if they traveled to Athens, Georgia, and Georgia played how they can play? Does anyone have a clue what would happen?
I don't even need
Yeah.
a clue. I can tell you right now the way the standings sit in the American, Navy, USF, and
That's the conference they're in?
yes, they're in the American.
Oh,
They're
They're not
near
even-
the bottom of the
Whoa,
top.
whoa, wait
4
a second, guys. Wait, guys. The University of North Texas plays a similar schedule to Notre Dame.
I knew he was fixing to say that.
They beat Army 45-38. They beat Navy 31-17. So listen, you guys need to back up on your bash in North Texas because it's a similar schedule to Notre Dame.
Yeah, but they're Notre Dame. This is North Texas. Where the hell are they even located?
I
They
don't
lost to the
know.
only ranked team in their conference. They don't deserve to get in. Sorry.
They played Lamar. I thought that was a gay nightclub singer. What the hell? What university is Lamar?
Wow.
Anyway, you need to get that thing off of there before make us want to all throw up. Oh my God.
That really, I mean, that just shows that when they released that Tuesday night, I was on the road and Marty was telling me and they sent me the figures, whatever. And I'm like, going down the road, look at that. I'm like, I just assumed that was Tulane. I thought, did they win this weekend? I'm like, I'll screw it. I ain't worried about it. I didn't know that was North Texas. I mean, they really just have to blow this whole thing up and just
Wait, Brett.
start.
They are the North Texas Mean Green.
They better be mean as hell if they're going to go to Athens. That's all I got to say.
Mean
The North
green,
Texas
baby.
Mean Green.
They didn't just lose to the Bulls for the record. This is like what 4 weeks ago. They lost by almost 30 points to the Bulls.
Yeah.
So I'm all for the underdog story. Chad and me may not always agree in that respect, but I definitely can recognize a charity case when I see one. And this is not worth consideration.
Yeah, this is not
This is the
Hoosier.
top 12 teams in the country. Forget all this.
Yeah,
the
that's
conference winners. No. If you're not one of the top 12 teams in the country, you don't get in. If you want this to be the NCAA basketball tournament, that's fine. Then it's going to be a joke.
all they got to do is when they come out on Tuesday night is do the college football playoff rankings 1 through 12, have 2 or 3 that they put in the hunt and be done with it. Because if you want the 12 best teams, it's the top 12 ranked playoff teams, period.
Yeah, the biggest problem you have with that is this. Then what do you do with a team like Notre Dame? You're just going to give it to them. Because clearly
They have to be ranked.
How are you
in the
going to
top
give it
12.
to them?
listen, I know they lost to Miami.
Worth of crap.
Miami is an unranked team now. Okay, they're an unranked team now, and they lost to Miami. Right. Okay, so they lose to Miami.
I'm not arguing with you, Eric, about the schedule and where, what Notre Dame's record is and do they deserve it. What I'm saying is, if they
But how do you keep
right,
it?
if they did this right, they wouldn't be in the top 12. So,
but they won't. They won't. See, that's the problem. They won't, because the NCAA. Brett said it earlier. What's it all about, Brett? Money. So they finagle away.
For the love of money.
After starting 0-2, Notre Dame has clawed their way back into the top 10 through this gauntlet. Purdue, Arkansas, Boise State, NC State, USC, Boston College, Navy. They've clawed their way back into the top 10. So I agree with you.
We can have a Notre Dame bash fest, and I'm with that. That's fun. But you guys got to remember, and I know this is my problem with this. This is not last year's Notre Dame team. That's obvious. Notre Dame was a pretty solid team last year. And look, they gave a damn Ohio State really every bit they wanted for 3 quarters in that championship game. They beat Georgia in the playoffs. They beat Indiana. I mean, you've got to give Notre Dame their props for last year. That was last year.
Last year.
No, this is a new year. This is a new year.
And that's just a dreadful schedule. I didn't realize it was that.
Yeah, and don't forget, you add Stanford, Syracuse, and 23rd ranked Pitt on there. So never mind, their schedule's totally justified now. You see what I'm saying? So I agree with Ed that, hey, if we got the 12 best teams, we got the 12 best teams. But then you got some teams that are playing a schedule like that. He wants to talk about the little 12 all the time. Little 12 teams don't play schedules like this.
Now that's a pretty soft ass schedule.
When the Big Ten, the SEC, the ACC, and the Big 12 give the double middle finger bird flap sign to the NCAA and create their own football tournament, then I tell you what, Notre Dame's gonna come begging at the fucking trough.
I hope so.
Then the big boys need to say, okay, what conference you going in?
They're going to be the perennial powerhouse of the Pac-12.
Look, in all seriousness, they're already in the ACC in basketball. Just get your ass in the ACC and be done with it. But things have changed. I mean, God, Texas has all the money in the world, and they came running to the SEC like, can we come on? We don't need this money. We'll pay them back. If Texas did that, it's time for Notre Dame to get in a conference.
I told you I was at a wedding a couple of weeks ago, and it was chock full of Notre Dame fans. And one of them just kept bringing up, well, the Big Ten had the chance in 1932 to get Notre Dame in, and they burnt that bridge. I'm like, 1930s? What are you talking about?
You remember back when Al Capone was alive, Chad?
And if they wanted to kill Al Capone, we would be in the Big Ten.
Back when Chicago was run by Capone, they had their chance and they blew it.
I mean,
we wouldn't pay in this fair.
That's just crazy. I mean, so if other Notre Dame fans are thinking the same thing, it's like, I don't know what to do with you people.
No, I mean, I understand why a Notre Dame fan would be like, hey, this is awesome. Because you play a schedule like that, and we're going to be in the playoff talk every year. Hell, if this was Iowa State, I'd be like, oh, sour grapes. But if you just look at it from just the standpoint of, like Ed said, the 12 best teams, how can you say that year in and year out? And I get it. Back in the day, I mean, maybe this schedule was tougher when Stanford was good. I don't know, when Jim Harbaugh was there, however long ago that was. Boston College
every year. They played Michigan every year.
Yeah, when Boston College had Doug Flutie, I guess they were good back then. But I mean, come on, this ain't even a schedule. And to argue that, hey, we deserve it. Well, no, I mean, you don't.
It makes you got to admit, out of all the conferences, to me, the ACC just makes the most sense because they're already there in basketball. What's the problem? And the ACC, it's not like they're jumping into the fire pit of the Big Ten or the SEC. I mean, just get your damn conference and win your conference or be in the top two. But they're gonna have to do something, because if the playoffs started tomorrow, we've got Notre Dame, which is an absolute brand that has 0 quality wins. And then North Texas, which I don't even know where the hell they're at. And I guess they even got oil money in North Texas. I don't know. I mean, you can't. This has got to be fixed. This
We
is.
got a directional school in the hunt for the college football playoff. Directional school.
Pretty soon, the Colorado School of Mines is going to be in that 12 spot. Oh, whatever. Okay, Brett, real quickly, since we got these up here, touch on this just a little bit. Give us a little update on the Brian Kelly LSU situation, since I know you know it's blowing up. Yeah.
All right. Next comment. Dude, it's a really bad look. He is suing them. He's got his attorney and agent suing them, and it has been referred to the district attorney or whatever. I can't remember. They got parishes down there. Everything's done different. I've got a lot going on. Dude, here's the deal. When I blew up after Alabama lost to Florida State at the beginning of the year, but it wasn't that one game. It was how we finished the season last year. It was how he didn't put in Ty Simpson. It was just, and I was like, everybody's like, we can't pay him $70 million. We can't pay him $70 million. I said, you don't think people in Tuscaloosa, Alabama can't make that boy and his wife and his family miserable enough to take a lot less money? I was right. He would have. Brian Kelly is a notorious asshole. Excuse my language. There's not anybody on campus that's not happy that the man's off campus. I've heard stories. They never accepted him down there, no. But Kelly was a total jerk. And I don't even know if he's got a wife. I don't know if he's got family. I don't know if he was hatched under a rock. But that guy, if it's on the dotted line and you owe him $54 million, whatever it is, he's going to try to get his money. And they offered him 25, from what I understand, to begin with, or 24. Then they came back and offered him 30. And finally, this last time, he said, "You know what? Screw this," because he had gotten wind. They were trying to say, well, he wasn't fired, and they said, well, he was fired, but he was fired with cause, because they went from offering him $30 million to like, well, hell, we ain't paying him $54 million. Let's come up, let's dig something up, and it's going to be, if LSU's smart, they get this handled right now. There's enough donors, there's enough money. I know it'll hurt. They'll have to pay him $6-8 million for so many years, whatever. But this could get really ugly, and I don't know who in the hell's going to go down to Baton Rouge with a signed contract. What does it matter if the contract's signed? Because obviously LSU ain't going. They're not willing to own up to it.
Right.
So LSU is a mess right now down in Baton Rouge.
I think this is a lot worse look. I think it's a lot worse look on LSU than it is Brian Kelly, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who Brian Kelly is.
Right.
With all the stories that have come out and stuff, that like this is expected from him.
Right.
But for what you just said, this does not make LSU look very good.
Hell, the governor's involved, man. Like I said,
that's bad.
I mean, I should have, instead of doing the show tonight, I should have went to Baumhauer's downtown and went and did the coach's show with Coach DeBoer tonight and gave him a big hug and a kiss, because I'm telling you, if he loses a couple more games, it's going to get real ugly down here too. You know, us redneck thing got no sense down here. We start mumbling and stuttering, talking about Bear Bryant, Nick Saban, and the shit hits the wall around here. So
before we get to our picks, word come out, Belichick is still focused on the Tar Heels, even though his name has now been attached to the New York Giants opening. So I guess, Belichick back to the NFL? Chad? Ed? I mean, is that really going to happen?
I don't know what he's chasing. I don't know what he's after. But he's kind of. I have a hard time seeing the Giants after all the shenanigans going on with the girlfriend and sideline and running the training camp, and I cannot believe the Maras are going to bring that into the Giants building.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but you got Dart, you got Scatterbo, you got Neighbors, you got all that youth that's been put into their team that's
Right.
really getting young. They have an opportunity to make some noise, and you bring in an old coach that's on. I mean, it just doesn't even. The minute I heard that today, I was like, that ain't a fit.
Well, he's a walking distraction, and you got to admit he's burned a lot of bridges. He's not the friendliest fella, you know what I mean? And
he tried.
Well, he's back to the old Belichick. When they asked him today about it, he goes, "I'm focused on Wake Forest. We play Wake Forest." That's all he would say was Wake Forest. So, it's just in New York City. I don't see it.
Well, he does. Remember, he does have the history. He was a defensive coordinator there for 2 Super Bowls. So he does have a history with the Giants. I can't imagine after the girlfriend.
He's been exposed ever since.
Brady
left. Honestly,
you're right, KJ.
He was falling into the stereotype of it was more the QB, not the head coach. And that's
I disagree with that.
Well, but it's only been further affirmed by going to a college team that I don't care what anybody says, and I think y'all agree. There's still the step up between, organizationally speaking, between a collegiate program and a professional NFL program, organization, whatever, and the level of everything that goes into coaching one of those respective squads. And if you can't get it done at the collegiate level, I don't understand why a pro squad would even give him a swinging dick and chance.
I'm going to defend him because when Nick Saban came here, Alabama was an absolute train wreck. I think we won 3 or 4 games the year before. We started out 6-2 Nick's first year, and you could tell the minute the players hit the field that first game, you could tell they were hitting harder, they were bigger, they were stronger, they were in position. But then things dominoed, and he ended up 7-6 his first year. Second year, the only reason we didn't win a national championship is by a guy by the name of Tim Tebow. And then Nick won it the third year. And hell, Nick didn't lose 6 games for the next 4 years after that first year. So I'm saying I wish Belichick would stick it out, and try another year or two, but Miss Terry kept a short leash on Nick. I mean, she ran the household. We've seen all the videos. Everybody around here loves Miss Terry. Bill's running around with
midlife crisis.
Look, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't mind running around with her. A little tap tap, whatever. But I mean,
tap tap. Y'all take notes, fans. We're coming
a little tap tap. But I mean, dude, he's like he's turned into a traveling circus, is what he has. And
I just want to defend him for a second too. I mean, yes, Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time.
Yep.
He got that way with a lot of help from Bill Belichick. And Tom will tell you that. I've watched Tom say, I would not be the player I became without Bill Belichick. All of the
I think it's crazy that people knock Bill Belichick's coaching. I do.
I'm telling you, he coached that entire team. All of those coordinators, when they try and go coach on their own, they were totally incapable of doing so because they had to follow the marching orders of him, and he told them what to say, what to do, where to be.
Right.
He is the greatest coach in NFL history, and you cannot change my mind. Now, he got old? The game may have passed him up. He didn't have a quarterback anymore. He screwed up and took quarterbacks he shouldn't have taken. He didn't draft a wide receiver in the first round for 12 years. I mean, he did a lot of things wrong. But player personnel-wise, he wasn't that great at the end. But those first 7 or 8 years coaching the Patriots and GMing the Patriots were pretty remarkable.
But
keep in mind, he was headed to that Super Bowl with Drew Bledsoe, not with Tom Brady, and Drew Bledsoe got hurt.
here's
And
the
the rest
difference.
is history.
Here's the difference. And then we got to pick the games. When I say to you, Brett, Alabama football, what's the first name that comes to mind?
Well, that's your apples and oranges.
No. What's the
Nick
first
Saban,
name?
Barry Bryant.
Nick Saban.
Nick Saban and Barry Bryant.
When I say Kansas City Chiefs, what's the first name that comes to mind?
Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
But now Andy Reid would be number 2.
I know.
Andy Reid is a hell of a coach.
But that is the difference. In college, when you say Iowa Hawkeye football, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Kirk Ferentz. Good, bad, doesn't matter. It's Kirk Ferentz. When you say New England Patriots, most people live are going to say Tom Brady.
Right.
Not Belichick's fault.
But in college, these guys usually only play for like 2 years. You know, they
I get
literally
that.
are on the field for 2 years.
But that's the difference when it comes to coaching. College coaches become gods. And I agree with Chad. Bill Belichick should be the greatest coach in NFL history. You know, Andy Reid close second. But those guys are not the names that are remembered in the NFL. They're always remembered second or maybe even third. It's always the quarterback, especially today.
I don't know. They named the big, most famous trophy in America after a coach.
Yeah, but that was back.
Where does he rank in
It
your
was a long
all-time
time ago.
list, right?
Yeah. Where's he ranked? It's not the Belichick trophy. It's the Lombardi trophy. Come on.
Well,
All right.
We're not going to rename it.
First game we're picking. Clemson 4-5 at number 21 Louisville 7-2. Point spread. Louisville 2.5-point favorite at home. Brett?
Are they
Clemson
21 or
Louisville?
20? What are they? I got to know.
They're 20.
20.
Okay.
I mean, Clemson's coming off that wonderful victory against Florida State in the What the Hell Bowl last week. Louisville's going to run up and down the field on them. Louisville big.
They always
Chad?
they come out with the AP on Sunday, but then it gets trumped by the Tuesday night college football playoff rankings. So
Yeah.
they go with the college rankings. So Louisville's actually 21 in the AP, 20 in college football rankings.
I know.
Chad?
I just wanted to tease Eric a little bit. Give me a Louisville.
Ed?
I'm going with the old Louisville Cardinals as well.
That's the way to pronounce it. Louisville.
KJ?
Louisville.
Yeah, home field advantage, better ranked team overall, better quality win through the schedule thus far. There's really not much you can say against the Cardinals.
It's a sweep, all but Jay went with Clemson. Everybody else, Big Mike, Marty, John, all went with Louisville. Next game on the docket. Arkansas 2-7. Ooh, dragging the bottom of the barrel, weren't you, Ed? At
I'm telling you,
LSU.
the schedule this week was pretty ugly, man. That was
Arkansas.
5-4. LSU is a 5.5-point favorite. I will take LSU, I guess, by default. KJ, who you got?
Yeah, definitely going with the Tigers on this one.
All right. Ed?
oh yeah, LSU all the way. I just thought that one of you guys might jump up and grab Arkansas. You know,
Chad? Well, we still
To
got
do
2 guys
what?
to pick. Chad, who you got?
Well, good luck for Arkansas to go into Death Valley. Give me LSU.
Brett?
Arkansas, it will be a pretty entertaining game if there's no other better teams on, which I hope the hell there will be. Go Tigers.
I already had you down. All right, third game, number 11, Oklahoma, 7-2 at number 4, Alabama, 8-1. Brett, I'll leave you for last, just so you don't influence anybody. Chad, who you got?
Man, I tell you what, Brett, look at me, Brett, look at me. Give me Bama. Give me fucking Bama.
You wanted to kiss your Brett. Watch out there.
I am also taking Alabama. Ed, who you got?
Same.
KJ?
Yeah, home field advantage doesn't ring any more true than a place like Tuscaloosa. So roll Tide.
Brett? You gonna gank it?
Well, I moved them down in the power rankings, although they've won 7 straight games. We are not very happy with our offensive performance. But I'll say this, Oklahoma Kemp slapped Alabama in Norman last year. If you notice, Venables is a hell of a defensive coordinator. You go back to when he left Clemson, left Dabo, and went to Oklahoma, and then you go and look at Clemson's record ever since then, it steadily dropped. He's a hell of a defensive coach. Bama's having a lot of damn problems on offense. Oklahoma, Boomer Sooner by 50.
What?
Are you serious? Chad Jr., it's official. Everybody just
Chad Jr. right there in the corner.
Jr.
It's Big Mike's got.
Brett took Oklahoma, huh?
Yeah, Big Mike's got Oklahoma, Marty, Alabama, John David, Alabama, and I can't repeat what Jay calls Alabama, so.
I call him Auburn's daddy, Jay. That's who I call him.
Fourth game, number 21, Iowa, 6-3 at number 17, USC, 7-2. USC is a 6.5-point favorite. I'll let Ed go last on this one. KJ, who you got?
Yeah, I mean, no glove, no love, right? Trojans all the way. They're doing good.
Brett?
I keep losing on these picks with you guys because I always pick your teams. I want Iowa to win, but USC is a little better than what they've been the last couple of years under Riley. USC by 10.
Chad?
Ed, look at me. Look at me, Ed.
Look at me.
Look at me. Look at me. Those Trojans are going to go right up the deepest, darkest hole that Iowa has.
Fight on.
Fight on. Give me the Trojans. And that sword stabbed in the middle of the field at the beginning of the game. Give me the Trojans.
I also have the Trojans. What about you, Ed? Are you going to stick with a homer, or are you going to?
After they lost the game, the most important game of the season, and you look at them going to USC this weekend, it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, the air has been let out big time. I just think that Iowa may get not only beat, they may get boat raced. Because I think the disappointment of losing that game against Oregon, it's going to be hard to not carry that over to this.
They're not going to come out and be mad, and that offense isn't just going to throw the ball all over the field.
No, they're going to wait. They're going to wait. They're going to hold out and wait for the Nebraska game after the day after.
Oh, I'm sure. They will beat Nebraska by 3. I guarantee it.
It's
10-7. 10-7.
Yeah, it's a sweep for USC. Last game, number 10, Texas, 7-2 at number 5, Georgia, 8-1. Georgia is a 5.5-point favorite. Let's see. Ed, you haven't gone first yet. Who you got?
I'm going to take Georgia. However, I think that sets the stage for Texas to rebound and beat Texas A&M, because I want to see Texas go 1-1 between Georgia and Texas A&M, because I want to see Texas sitting there with 3 losses and make the college football playoff committee have to keep them out of the playoffs with 3 losses. So,
And keep North Texas in.
Yeah.
but for now, I'll take Georgia.
The mean green.
Chad, who you got?
Give me them dogs.
I have Georgia as well. KJ?
For the first time all season, folks, we got multiple people going home on every pick of our pick'ems this week. I'm going Bulldogs.
Brett?
I did.
Not so fast, my friend.
Yeah. Here.
Quick story.
Before
Georgia
you
had
make your
30.
pick, before you make your pick, I'll just put the streaming down here. Notice that you were the only one with a losing record last week. So go ahead and spout off whatever you're going to
These are
spout.
desperation plays, folks.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what's going to happen. You know, Georgia hadn't lost a home game in 3-4 seasons. Then the mighty Crimson Tide came to town, took them down. Now, the Texas Longhorns, king of the NIL, big money, big fancy cars, all that. Texas is going to go into Athens, and they're going to beat that ass. And that will be Georgia's second home loss this year. Texas.
Woo-wee.
Yeah, see, two
That's a
lone
bold
bees.
statement, Cotton.
Two lone bees on the left side of the card there. We'll see. All right.
Ooh.
All right. Well, that covers college. It's actually a split. We got Jay and Big Mike taking Texas and Marty and John taking Georgia. So we shall see.
That will be the night the lights went out in Georgia, baby. You watch.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. Well, that covers the college. We have to get on to the NFL, but we are going to take a quick break. And as soon as I get all these banners off here, have a word from our sponsor. We'll be right back. You know, every week I think, do we have enough college content? Do we have enough college content? And then boom, here we are, hour and 20 minutes into it, and we haven't even gotten to the NFL yet. So let's cover some quick NFL stuff. Here are the division standings after week 10 in the NFL. And lo and behold, Chad, would you look at that? Our beloved 6-3 Bears are tied atop the NFC North. Now, are we going to finish that way? Absolutely not. But for right now, it is a whole lot of fun not seeing us at the bottom. We have already surpassed last year's win totals, which is, you know, I mean, it's just a lot of fun to watch.
It's
Don't you think, Ed? Aren't the Bears a lot of fun to watch, bud? See that big old purple blob down there at the end, at the bottom of the NFC North? Ooh.
Ed, you're supposed to be about purple. You're looking a little green with envy, right?
Well, Detroit's not a road team, so they'll go out to Philly this week and lose. Chicago's losing this weekend. So you're looking at Minnesota 1 game out of the lead, 5-5. So
I mean, I do like your confidence with a 4-5 team. I mean, I really do.
I understand it.
it wasn't. It takes till about today for that to happen because Sunday night you're about ready to kill somebody. Monday you can't watch any of the talk shows because they're talking about all the successes of the other teams when you just got raped. So yeah.
And then he messages me this weekend. He's like, Ken, you got to go to Hy-Vee. They got Purple Viking beer.
Did you
bottles.
go? Did you go?
I got to go and check. My daughter checked at hers and they didn't have it.
I think it's Bud. I think it's Bud Light who's doing it.
Bud Light. That makes sense. They're into cross dressing at Bud Light.
I knew that was coming.
I did too, man. Talk about set that up on a tee.
Yeah, I knew it was Bud Light. I'm like, oh no.
Oh God.
I went into Walmart over the weekend, and we had Mizzou.
Were you in a dress?
No,
Oh, okay.
We don't have an NFL team, of course, in St. Louis. That's a whole long topic for another day. But
Yeah, right.
we did have Mizzou.
So that is your NFC standings with Philadelphia, Detroit, Tampa Bay, and Seattle at the top. That NFC West, man, Seattle's a problem. They're going to be a real problem, I think. Tampa Bay finds themselves in a really bad division. It'd be nice if the Bears were in that division. That'd be great. And then,
How's
Philadelphia.
Carolina 5-5?
Well, they
How is
lost
that
this weekend, but well, somebody's got to be in that division, don't they?
No,
Not really.
Somewhere close to 500.
no, they don't have to beat each other. They can just tie 0-0.
Then there's Philly and everybody else in the East. All right, AFC divisions. New England 8-2 with a game and a half lead over Buffalo. Pittsburgh. You want to talk about a broken team? We'll talk about Buffalo here in a little bit. Pittsburgh. I mean,
I hope Jay's still on.
Guys, did Aaron Rodgers just really, really, really look his age this week?
Yeah.
I mean, there were times in the pocket where he looked like he needed a walker, an old man that just couldn't do anything.
Yeah, he's got to be done. This has got to be it, right?
I mean, I almost felt myself feeling sorry for him for that long.
Whoa.
No, I know. I didn't allow myself to do it, but it was like that close.
That shouldn't be anywhere near Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Yeah. And we get the pleasure of playing Aaron Rodgers in a few weeks.
Look at this, though. Everybody, the AFC North was going to be the toughest division in the AFC, and look at it.
Yeah.
That is
Baltimore's going to come back and win that division.
Yeah, Baltimore is. My money is on Baltimore, no question. Indianapolis sitting with a comfortable 2.5 game lead.
Hey.
Is there a second half collapse coming for Indianapolis?
I don't know how they can. I mean,
I always harken back to the Chargers going 8-0 in the first half of the season, and then going 0-8 in the second half. I'll never forget that. It's like, how does that even happen? Yeah. And I could see the Colts losing the rest of the games. I mean, I just, is Daniel Jones going to start Daniel Jonesing, or is he going to keep?
Well, the biggest problem is, and you can see it a little bit, they are failing to protect him.
That's what I'm saying.
In the last 2 games, they have failed to protect him like they had in the previous 8 games, and it's really starting to show. I mean, 7 turnovers in the last 2 games, that's not a good deal. And a lot of it has to do with protection. I mean, he is getting blindsided. I don't know if that's because defenses are changing up and they're not making adjustments to it, but they are getting to him at a lot higher rate. I don't know if that's an offensive line problem, adjustment, or what, but they are getting to him. And it is causing problems.
Here's where it could be a problem for the Colts. So if Indiana Jones goes back to being Daniel Jones and they have traded away all this draft capital,
yeah,
they can't draft a quarterback.
No, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
They are in serious trouble.
Daniel Jones is their guy going forward for at least.
He's only under what he's only
right.
Under
but what I'm saying is because of the lack of draft capital, unless they have to move up and they got to make a trade to get a pick back or whatever, they're gonna have to re-sign it.
When the Jets screw up their 15 picks they've got next year and they don't take a quarterback, the Jets will sign Jones.
I didn't have this up for last week, but take a look at this, boys. Can even the New York Jets screw this up?
Yes.
Yeah.
But what I was telling Eric, okay, you get these kind of draft picks the next couple of years. You've got about a 3-year window to take advantage of all these rookie contracts, providing the majority of them pan out. But then they're going to all come in for contracts at the same time, and the salary cap ain't going to allow you to keep that many players. So good luck with 4, 5, 6 years down the road after this draft.
Yeah,
class.
it'll be interesting.
They're not. There's no way they can hit 100%. If they hit 30% of these draft picks, that'll be amazing. And the sad part is that's what they traded away. They traded away a bunch of players that they actually hit on and were really, really good. It just didn't matter because the whole organization is trash.
Yeah, that's the problem.
If the organization is still trash and all these players hit, it doesn't matter.
Well, depending on where they finish at the end of the year, if they're not in the number one position, those 2 number ones in 26 are probably gone because it's going to take both those number ones to move up. So, I mean, who knows?
I don't know.
Don't trade any picks if I'm the Jets. You pick the best available player at every spot and just build that team back.
Yeah. The thing,
I mean, every available, whether it's defensive lineman, offensive lineman, just on and on and on.
I laugh if you people watching, if you ever want entertainment, just research, go to YouTube and go to New York Jets draft follies, draft reactions. They are absolutely priceless. And I can just about imagine with all of these important picks, they have 3 first-rounders in 2027. 3. Can't you just see with the first pick in the 2026 NFL draft, the New York Jets select tight end? Oh, no! Yeah. I mean, those are some of the greatest moments in draft.
Quarterback Ryan Leaf Jr.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully they go back to having the draft in New York City that year.
Yeah.
They always used to be at Radio City in New York every year, so the Jets fans just packed that place.
Yep. And
it was just
I cannot wait. Okay. Here's another beautiful sight, even though it's only after week 10. Our beloved Bears boys are in the 6th seed ahead of the Green Bay Packers. Now, do I believe the Bears are a playoff team? No, our defense is so bad. However, currently, this is where we sit, and it feels a lot better having our picture on this piece of paper than not. So we just have to
please screenshot this for further,
Yeah.
Oh, listen, we're not making the playoffs.
Eric, you don't get into what the typical Bear fan goes through every week. So I'm going to put this up.
Oh yeah, no, that's true. That's exactly what
the first picture is the beginning of the game. The middle picture is what happens during the game. Then at the end of the game, when you pull it out of your ass,
hey, yeah, we got to be something. We got to be something.
And for everybody listening, this nails what it's like for these three bingos, because I sit there and listen to them on a chat line during the game every weekend, and the Bears are nothing but redheaded stepchilds, good for nothing, throw them in the dumpster, grease fires. But then at the end of the game, bear down, bear down. Like, oh my God.
I tell you what,
Like at the end of the third quarter, I'm on there and says, fire everyone.
Yeah,
and then 45 minutes later, I'm like, I knew we had it.
Yeah, the best one was this week. Chad's like, I can't take this anymore. I'm going to go take a nap.
Yep.
Game gets over. Brett and I are on our text thread going, man, we pulled that out. Da, 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 da. Chad gets on. He goes, wait, we won?
halfway through the late game, all of a sudden you see Chad make a post. Wait, we won?
We won?
I mean, I knew when he said he's taking a nap and he went silent. I knew he was going to take a nap. I knew it.
I was so angry. I was like,
why did we win, boys? Because we have that man right there.
He is
Good, better, best. Never let it rest, Ed. Till your good gets better and your better gets best, baby.
Just wait. I got that hat, glasses, everything ready to go this weekend.
Oh, listen, I might
even have to go full-fledged wig and the whole ball of wax.
I'm taking Minnesota in our picks. I'm not getting crazy.
Hey, I hope Minnesota is up 28-3, Atlanta versus New England. And the Bears come back and win 31-28. The ball hits the crossbar, hits the post, then the crossbar, another post, and then bounces over and we win.
And why? Because we have this guy right here.
Oh my God.
Everybody in the national media is back to generational talent. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing.
I told you boys.
I saw those
told you
clips this
boys.
week. I'm like, what? You people were all damning him to the scrap heap 3 weeks ago. Now he's back to being a generational talent.
Yep. That's the part that I just absolutely love. I just absolutely love it.
One of those people, you were tossing him on the trash heap, Eric.
Huh? No.
Yes, you were.
No. Let's go back. Let's go back.
I kept telling you, slow down. He's not even 16 games in. Slow down.
And I said under Eberflus, this guy would be a pile because we were talking about the Sam Darnolds, the Daniel Jones being in the right situation. I said now with Ben Johnson, he's got to prove because Ben Johnson's a dude. He is. If Caleb Williams was playing like absolute dog water, yeah, I'd be throwing him on a scrap heap. But Ben Johnson has turned something on in him that's – I mean, I was never on Brett's Jaden Daniels, but it is what it is. We can't completely talk about the Bears. We can talk about them later when Minnesota, whatever. Quick power rankings as soon as I bring them up. It's going to cover the whole screen, boys, because it wouldn't download. We shrunk the power rankings down just a little bit. Basically, we're just going to go down to there's going to be 14 playoff teams. So this is where I have them ranked. And then I got a couple in the hunt because outside of that, there's not too many teams left in the hunt. Kept Detroit at the top. Again, Detroit could be anywhere from, I think, 1 to 4. LA could be anywhere from 1 to 3. Philly could be 1 to 3. I've seen Seattle a couple times today. They've got Seattle at the top. I'm not sure I'm still trusting them, even though they are absolutely a scary, scary football team in all 3 phases of the game. New England's climbing the ladder. I think New England has probably positioned themselves to probably get the number 1 seed in the AFC with the schedule that they have. We talked a little about Indianapolis is showing cracks across the offensive front. They're getting to Daniel Jones. Again, if they don't get that cleaned up, they're going to be in trouble. I don't trust the Broncos. Bo Nix has really regressed, but they're 8-2. It is what it is. Kansas City, I still think Kansas City, I don't care whether it's a wild card or not, they're going to be there. Tampa Bay, basically, with the injuries and stuff they have, they're still going to win their division by default. So they're going to be there, whether it be in a wild card scenario or a seeded scenario. It'll be a seeded scenario, probably the 4 seed. Baltimore, telling you, Baltimore's going to win that division. Baltimore's going to be a scary team, I think, by the end. When they get all healthy, they got almost everybody back. The Bills. Oh, the Bills. The Bills are seriously broken right now. And
Yeah,
Miami,
look at Jay.
Miami has absolutely taken their heart, Indiana Jones style. And yeah, Jay, you watch that game this week. Okay, dude. Listen, I love Allen. But again, I go to what Chad says, and Chad's right. They've been together more than 5 years. Buffalo or Baltimore probably not going to be the Super Bowl winners. But right now, Buffalo looks like they are in trouble. They are, what are they, 2-3 in their last 5 games? So they beat Kansas City. Okay. I mean, they beat Kansas City in the regular season every year. I think he's 5 in last 5. But you can't go to Miami and drop. If you are a true Super Bowl contender, you cannot go to Miami and lose that game. I mean, Miami's a scrap.
Not just lose it. They
get boat raced. It wasn't even close. Then the Chargers at 12. I mean, they are still, for all the injuries and things that they've had, Herbert is averaging like 12 or 13 hits a game. But somehow, they're still able to stay toward the top. Credit Herbert and Jim Harbaugh there. And we'll talk about the Green Bay Packers, but man, I tell you what, it almost feels like, I know one game can change the whole perception, good or bad, but Green Bay's in trouble right now. They are in trouble right now. For all the people that said, "Oh, Caleb Williams is back to being a generational talent," a lot of people are backtracking on all the Jordan love that they were getting at the beginning of the year. All of a sudden, maybe Jordan Love's just a good quarterback.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Jordan Love.
Super Bowl quarterback and things like that. So, and then, of course, I got the Bears in there only by default. They're not going to finish there, but it's fun to have them in there now. And then, of course, you got the Jaguars in San Francisco that are still in the hunt. After that, I think most teams are pretty much out of it for one reason or the other. But since we brought it up, let's get to
the NFC, man.
What?
The NFC is stacked.
Oh, it is. It's a gauntlet, man. I mean, it is a gauntlet. And, I'll bring that back up real quick. You look at
Are we going to recap the Bills tonight? Are we going to recap that game? Okay.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the Bills. We're going to talk about broken teams, and I think the Bills are probably going to be tops on the list. But, you look at the NFC side of that. If you tell me for sure that tell me there's one team in there that won't be there, and that's the Bears. Outside of that, tell me which team won't be there. And the answer is no.
Pittsburgh?
They're all going to be there. No. I'm talking the NFC side. None, right? Then you go to the AFC side. I mean, you've got – I don't see Kansas City. I don't see Baltimore. I mean, who knows if the Jags end up in there? The Steelers, probably not. And you might even see the Chargers or the Broncos slip out of there. And they've got good records. I mean, there's no – to me, I think the best team right now on that side is the Patriots.
From top to bottom, probably so. But like I mentioned a few weeks ago, and Ed just spoke about it, NFC's loaded right now. This is like the NFC I grew up with in the 80s and 90s, where it was the Bears, 49ers, and Cowboys and Packers, and the AFC was always playing for second place. When the NFC went on all that Super Bowl run where they won. How many straight did the NFC win at that time? 12,
It was-
13, 14.
It was,
it was
1984 to
would have been
not quite 20 years.
yeah.
And I'm not bashing the AFC, but the NFC just looks
It was
really
like
good.
17 years or something like that.
Yeah.
But yes, Jay, we are going to talk about the Bills and what we believe their fate is.
Oh, it was the Broncos in 98.
I was thinking it was the Broncos.
They beat the Packers. They beat the Packers.
Yes, yep.
Yep.
They beat
So
Favre
it was
and the Packers.
from 1984 to 1998. The NFC won every single Super Bowl.
Yeah. And most of them were pretty bad games. I mean,
Yeah.
The Super Bowl was not good for a long time.
No.
right.
You know, it was a blowout. It was a blowout almost every year. So yeah, I mean, that's just it's tough to be on the NFC side right now. I mean, you got to be thinking to yourself, and you look at that AFC side. You got Kansas City and Baltimore; they're going to be in there. So does that mean that Jacksonville and Pittsburgh are on the outside looking in, or does that mean that Pittsburgh and I don't know, say the Chargers are on the outside looking in?
I think Pittsburgh and the Chargers, they're showing signs that they're in trouble. Especially Pittsburgh. I mean, Aaron did look like he needed a walker the other night, and their secondary in Pittsburgh is just bad. It's just bad.
The fact that they have the highest paid defense in the NFL and it's as inconsistent as it is it's just not looking like money well spent.
Well, you know what the highest paid defense tells me? It's probably the oldest defense.
Yeah, you could be right.
Yeah,
you could be right. I haven't looked at the ages, but yeah, you absolutely could be right on that.
They've got three older guys on that defensive line that's really good, but they're starting to go down the hill, so to speak.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start off with whatever the hell it was we saw last Monday night. And that is the game between Philadelphia and Green Bay. Now, I've heard all sorts of excuses from the national media and online and all that kind of stuff. Well, it was cold. It was this. It was that. And I'm like, well, if Green Bay is this super team and Jordan Love is a super quarterback, I think he threw for 124 yards. Caleb Williams, in a higher wind and just as cold of weather, threw for 230 yards. So I don't buy that excuse. Plus, it's Green Bay. You know you're going to see that kind of weather. I've also seen, well, it was just a defensive struggle. And man, the defenses just turned it up on each other. And, man, these are two Super Bowl caliber teams. I'm not buying that either. I mean, it didn't.
Well, this is the third. Chad says the first two weren't bad losses, but this is the third bad loss that they've had at home. Especially, you can say Philadelphia, they're a good team. This isn't a bad loss. It's a bad loss because
this is a bad loss.
They score, I'm going to put up this graphic. They keep wanting to put Jordan Love on this heap, and they keep wanting to compare him to Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. And put that graphic up, Eric, that I had you.
Yep.
On games where the Green Bay allowed fewer than 17 points, Aaron Rodgers with Green Bay was 65-4. And Jordan Love's already 8-4. So do you think he's going to peel off 57 straight? I mean, Jordan Love makes the dumb mistakes like right before halftime. They're in field goal range. They got a field goal. They can go up before halftime, and he fumbles the ball away, and they end up 0-0 at halftime. Jordan Love, for all the big games that Green Bay's had, I just think he notoriously comes up small. I just do.
Well, so let me ask you a question. So if he finished the season like this and they don't do well, does Green Bay try and sneak a quarterback at the back end of the draft?
Green Bay's in trouble by the looks of it.
I think
I do
Green
want to
Bay-
get to Philly. I do want to get to Philly, but I mean, I think there's a chance that if he continues to play like this year, that he's got 3 years left on his deal.
Yeah.
They do this. They will draft a quarterback in the first round. They give zero fucks. They will draft one. They don't care. They will, if he continues to play like this year, they will draft a quarterback.
Especially when they're starting to talk about Jordan Love possibly costing the head coach's job. I mean, they go from Green Bay being perennial Super Bowl contenders to now they're talking about can Jordan Love cost the head coach's job? And it's like, you start talking like that, yeah, I agree with Chad. I can see him picking a quarterback.
Well,
nothing else, just to put a little heat on Love to sure to get off the pot.
The biggest problem for Green Bay is this. Matt LaFleur is a good coach.
Yeah.
But the problem is, and I think Jay said it on the comments, he said with that contract Love got, no. But here's the deal. And I agree with him to an extent. If it comes down to that and Green Bay has to make a move, Green Bay doesn't fire coaches or doesn't let coaches go. They're almost as similar as Pittsburgh is. Not as bad. Pittsburgh's only had 3 coaches
that's not true.
But what I'm saying is I can't see them firing LaFleur because of Jordan Love's play, even though he's got a big contract. I think it probably happens more like Chad said and Ed backed up, that they'll bring in another quarterback. Like no questions asked. I do not.
Who will bring in next year? I mean,
you did it to Favre and you did it to Rodgers. You're certainly going to do it to
Love.
You're just going to do it 10 years earlier than you thought you had to.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I mean, you could see it in LaFleur's face when that reporter asked him that question. It was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And because it was uncomfortable, it makes me think even more that there's some cracks in his trust. Now, I will tell you this, and we should be talking about Philadelphia, but we'll get our Jordan Love a legitimate Super Bowl championship. Let's get this one out of the way, and we'll go back to Philadelphia.
No.
But here's what I saw the other night against Philadelphia. When they pressured him, he cracked. He panicked. He did not look like the quarterback that everybody was talking about. He was getting happy feet. He missed, I think Ed and I were texting back and forth. He missed Dobbs and he missed Watson across the middle a couple times that could have been huge plays. But he was imagining pressure or feeling the pressure, and he completely missed them 2 or 3 times in the middle. And I think those are things. I remember the one time he missed, that's when they showed LaFleur back on the chart going through his iPad and marking stuff and doing this, that, because I'm sure LaFleur saw the same thing. Like, why are you not hitting Dobbs over the middle? It's double high coverage. We got outsiders going the middle, and he come right down the seam, and that isn't where we're looking. So they're not going to fire LaFleur. But I think Chad's onto something like, hey, they may bring in that quarterback and say, hey, all right, we will switch if we need to. No question about it. I mean, Brett, what are your thoughts on it?
He looked like the man a couple of weeks ago against Pittsburgh with Aaron Rodgers. That big, Aaron gets his revenge, and I mean, Green Bay just took it to them, but lost Carolina at home. They play so poorly the other night against Philadelphia. And then what was the third home game they've lost this year?
It was Cleveland, Carolina, and Philly.
Yeah.
I agree with Chad. If Green Bay don't win this division this year, and I don't think they will, I think Green Bay will absolutely be looking at a quarterback in the offseason. I'm not saying they'll pull it off. I'm not saying once they get to the draft they realize, shit, you've only got this, and this, and these couple free agents. But I agree. He's his tenure, I think, has gotten shorter with Green Bay, and LaFleur. He seems, if you watch his mannerisms before the game, during the game, after the game, he's flustered, and maybe we were all wrong. We were scared that Green Bay hit the lottery 3 times in a row, but it looks like the law of averages caught up to them this time. I think Green Bay's in trouble, and I love it.
Well, just remember, he's got 2 games against the Bears, and he'll turn into the greatest quarterback ever.
Oh yeah. Well, look at our defense. I mean, hell, we could probably go 10 for 20 against our defense.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But you know, when we're going to branch back to the Philadelphia 4th down. Jordan Love, perfect example. Philly going for it on 4th down in the 4th quarter and throwing the type of pass they did to try. I mean, that was, to me, just imprehensible. I mean, it was, how in the hell do you go for it on 4th down? I don't care. Pooch the damn thing and put them on the 10 or 15 yard line and make them go 30, 40 yards. They end up giving them the ball. They're a completion or 2 away from being in field goal range.
Yeah.
It just made absolutely no sense to me.
And
You guys remember? Oh, go ahead.
Well, you know what Sirianni said in the press conference?
No.
I just believe in my guys.
Believe in your guys, okay. Then put them deep in and make them go 30.
And let the defense eat. The defense has kept you in this game the whole freaking entire time. How about we put it in their hands?
Here's the perfect example of the difference between Jordan Love and Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Remember when Watson does that deep pass right at the end of the game? Watson was wide open. If Jordan Love throws him open to the sideline,
Right.
Watson's got that reception, and we're talking at least overtime, probably at the very least. But he threw a completely terrible pass, and I'll tell you, I'll stake on it. I've watched enough Minnesota Green Bay games over the years that Minnesota's shit their pants the last 2 minutes of the game. Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre would have both made that throw in their sleep.
Yeah.
And Jordan Love's pass wasn't even close. So I'll leave it at that.
But
Now,
go ahead, Chad.
Now, I will say this about Philly. We had a little exchange in our text group today about A.J. Brown. And I tried to send something, but my office is in a concrete and steel cave, and it didn't send. Maybe it ended up sending eventually. I don't know. But I am 100% in agreement with A.J. Brown. Your passing game, Philadelphia, is horrible. Horrible. And if you want to win this, you better throw that man the ball. Yeah, I know, Eric. Hurts is not throwing him the ball. I don't know if the offense is getting called that way, but he's not even trying. And he's throwing the ball to Skinflint, but he's not throwing the ball to A.J. Brown.
Yeah. Hurts is
They pulled an Eric. They pulled an Eric.
I don't necessarily think it's Hurts. I think it's the OC and the head coach, I think, are pissed off at Brown. And so they're just not throwing him the ball.
Well,
they would. That head coach will cut off his nose to spite his face, and we all know it.
I don't know about
Eric. Before you say anything, remember last year when Eric got out his phone and he started talking about Justin Fields missing all these wide open receivers?
Right.
They had the A.J. Brown conversation today, and they started showing plays where A.J. Brown is running across the middle of the field, and he ain't got a guy within 5 or 10 yards of him. And Hurts is standing in the pocket looking straight ahead and does not throw him the ball.
I'm telling you,
told not to throw him the ball.
I can't see them. I can't see them being arrogant enough for that. I mean,
Really?
because I can't
Well,
see
you
it.
guys remember what I
No.
said before the season last year? You guys remember before the season last year, I said, look, Philadelphia, what I say? Top to bottom, they're the best, most talented team in the league. But I said, can they overcome this dumbass of a head coach that they've got? You remember I said it verbatim.
Yeah.
Yep.
And look, the guy, Philadelphia's loaded. They're loaded. I mean, my God, they're loaded every which way. The GM the last 3 years, I mean, God, can the Bears just please take him and hire him and put him in charge of player personnel in Chicago? But Jalen is who we thought he was. I've seen him since he came out of high. He's not. Look, they picked a 5'10" left-hander over Jalen at Alabama, and it's not. It wasn't anything personal. It's not like they because they liked Tua more than Jalen. Tua was a better quarterback, and I mean, look, I love Jalen. You can't help if you listen to Jalen, you watch Jalen. He's a respectable kid. He's a great kid. He's a coach's son, but he is who he's always been. Like you said, if they throw 30, 40 times a game, I mean, that's not his game. What Jay say?
He said he's going to make an Alabama reference.
Oh, speaking of that, we need to hurry up and cover Buffalo.
Yeah, well, and I'll put a bow on Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts is nothing more than a good quarterback. He's not great. And the problem with Philadelphia is, I think it was either Ed or Chad said it last year, what's going to happen to Saquon Barkley when you run him like a mule all year long, Chad? When you run him like a mule all year long, you know what happens in production the next year? It goes down. What has happened to Saquon Barkley's production? It has plummeted. And the Eagles, thank God they have an elite defense, or the Eagles would be in trouble, because Jalen Hurts, without a unbelievable running game, is not a quarterback that can throw it for 40 times and win you a ball game. And you're never going to convince me of that. Well, and whether they're doing it on purpose or not, Chad, is irrelevant. Then they're dumb. But I saw the same thing Ed was talking about, and I'm just like, he's missing open receivers. It's not A.J. Brown every time, and he is flat out freaking missing them.
Yeah. My point is this. Smith is good. A.J. Brown is a stud. And if you're not going to use him, you're just hurting yourself. You need to get him involved early and often. Whatever easy throws Jalen can make to get some confidence and get Hurts and get Brown some confidence, that's what you need to do, because they're going to have to throw the ball at some point. And they're not going to – and Brown will be checked out. If he hasn't checked out already, evidently he was playing Madden and he was playing Madden and he was the Eagles, and he just kept throwing himself the ball. And he was streaming it on Twitch, and he said, this is the only way I can have fun playing football, guys. If you got me in fantasy football, you better drop me.
Better drop me.
When I read the article, I bust out laughing at work. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he said that. Okay, real quick. Is it the right decision for Cincy to get Joe Burrow back in as starting quarterback? Ed, this was yours, so let's hear what you have to say.
Well, you know what they're going to say. They're going to say that for the kind of money he's being paid, if he's healthy enough to play, he should play. But then you've also got the retractors that say you got Joe Flacco, and they're putting 30, 40 points on the board every week. So do you hold Joe Burrow back and let him get completely healthy and not risk your franchise quarterback for a season that may be out of reach?
Yeah.
Well, I saw somewhere where they were saying that there's speculation they're going to trade Burrow in the offseason if they can produce like this with Flacco, they want to get a cheaper quarterback. And I'm just like,
Wow.
He'd look good in purple. I know that.
Well, I'm going to tell you this, and I kind of side with that a little bit. How many more points would the Bengals score with Joe Burrow in there? They're 0-2 the last 2 weeks, and they've scored like 82 or 84 points. How much better is Joe Burrow going to be than Joe Flacco is? So why do you bring him in there? If you're not going to do anything on the defense, why do you bring Joe Burrow back in there? If he's not like 1,000% healthy and ready to go. You can't possibly do any better.
well,
Can he?
I think Flacco's reaching the end of his. He's only got so many starts in him, boys.
Oh, yeah,
not that he's going to get hurt. Not that he's going to get hurt, but that the production is just going to plummet.
Well, they trade Burrow for some picks and build a defense? I mean, they've already got receivers, running backs, but they have zero defense.
No,
yeah.
It's. I don't know. I don't know what I don't know.
They put themselves in an intriguing spot, and so the offseason will be interesting to see what they do. If you don't bring Joe Burrow back to play and he's healthy, what message does that send to the rest of your team?
Well, I agree with you. I
what message
understand.
would it send to the rest of the team when they sign 2 big wide receiver contracts instead of addressing their defense?
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Just a couple quick hitters. Travis Hunter has been shut down for the year, knee surgery, I believe. He was really starting to find a stride, I think, as a receiver. But he's done for the year. Jameis Winston, your boy Chad, is in for the Giants.
Yes?
Not Russell B. Wilson. It is Jameis Winston that is going to be starting for the Giants. And they said, now this is a wild card that the Packers, because all of a sudden cracks are showing the Packers, can the Packers beat the Giants now with Jameis Winston coming in? Is he going to be that? Is he just going to throw a wrench into it and propel the Giants?
If only Neighbors was
So
Right.
what is this? So like Eric and I were talking about earlier today, what does this do to Russell Wilson, to the Russell Wilson legacy? Because now you can't even hold a backup role. You're basically demoted to third string, and this is team after team after team now that he's crashing and burning. He may have very well cost himself, the Hall of Fame.
Is all this forgotten, though? In 10 years, is all this forgotten?
Well, like I told Ed on the phone today, we were talking earlier, I said, he's going to have to get a TV gig, get a some kind of gig like that, and kind of reinvent himself.
Oh, yeah.
And kind of give the persona out that, hey, I'm a good guy. And I think to repair the play that we've seen on the field. Because
he's
starting
going to
with
have
Denver,
to.
he's been stealing.
My demonstration of that, is Dan Fouts was a really, really good quarterback. Is he really a Hall of Famer? You know what helped get him into the Hall of Fame? Doing all those games and keeping himself relevant in the consciousness of America for all those years doing games. So that's a valid point. If he wants to try and make the Hall, he's going to have to try and get a job in TV. And he can talk. He's very eloquent and speaks very well. I don't know if he can do games or not, but if he gets to bring his wife along, maybe that he can sit in a studio with her next to him.
Right. She could stand there like Bill.
He should be in the Hall of Fame.
He talked about going into politics, so maybe that's what he's going to do. So.
Yeah, that'll be. Ugh. Okay. We got to get it real quickly. We got to get into. I've got 3 categories here. I'll give each one of you. Who's the most trusted team in the NFL to you, Brett? Trusted team. right now? I'm not saying Super Bowl team. That's a separate category. Who's the most trusted team?
I mean, a team that I think is going to be there. We kind of know what they are. Yeah, they've got some losses. I mean, Kansas City.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to fold their 10. I think we all know they're going to be in the playoffs.
Okay,
Yeah.
Chad, who's your
Feel that
most
way.
trusted team in the NFL?
He said Kansas City, so I won't say Kansas City. So I'll say Philadelphia.
Who?
At some point, with that defense, and at some point they realize they've got to throw AJ the ball at some point, right? So I think that they'll do it. Seattle, oh man, did they not watch last year?
Most trusted team in the NFL right now is the Los Angeles Rams. I think Sean McVay is setting himself up with the offense he's got. I think they're getting set up. Seattle's an up-and-coming team, no doubt, but if I got Matthew Stafford going against Sam Darnold with all the chips on the table, who are you?
We've been there and done that, haven't we?
We all know what Sam Darnold does in that situation.
Experience.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold is sitting at that poker table. Sam Darnold gets super nervous and fidgety, gets all shaky, and gets up to get a drink and hits the table, and his chips go everywhere, all over the floor. And everybody just walks by and picks them up and puts them in their pocket.
I think Sean McVay is looking at this weekend as being a huge game because they're in play for home field advantage. And Matthew Stafford is having an MVP year. I can see if they can get past Seattle and they can secure that number one home field advantage, Rams they're going to be a problem, as Brett always says. They're going to be a real problem.
They're going to be a real problem. Okay. Broken teams. Unfortunately for you, Jay, Buffalo, I've got 3 broken teams, but I'm only going to say Buffalo. Buffalo has they've lost their identity. It no longer can it just be Josh Allen is going to run around and be Superman. Okay. Miami took that from them. And Miami's not a very good football team. It's not sustainable. There's too many holes that are being poked in Buffalo right now. The defense is okay, and the offense is okay. So the problem is that does not spell top tier team. That does not spell Super Bowl team. I mean, throughout Super Bowl winner, I'm talking about just getting to the Super Bowl. Those things, I mean, it's not working. And again, I'll go back to what Chad said. Maybe the whole Brian Dable stuff has come up this week. You know, Dable and Josh Allen are like they're pals. And you know, they kind of poo-pooed that today, but I'm just like that's what's needed, I think, for Buffalo. Is Josh Allen needs a voice. I'm not saying it's Dable, maybe it is. But something has to change. Something has to give. This record just looks like the same. And actually,
can you add something to this Buffalo game for Jay?
Yeah, go ahead. What are you going to add?
Let me explain to you, Jay, what happened this past weekend. For my Alabama reference, Tua took out his little Hawaiian fruit basket. And he pissed all over your Buffalo Bills. That's exactly what happened.
Jesus.
The same way he did Auburn back when he was in Tuscaloosa. That was all I really wanted to add. I'm buddies with Jay, so I know I'm going to hear it.
I know. I thought you had actually something really to add. Chad?
Jay, here's what I have to add. Jay, this is the, I know you're right now, you're in pain and you don't want this to happen. But you want this to happen because this gets McDermott fired and you get a new coach to come in and revive the team and give them a chance to go to and win a Super Bowl. Because it's not going to happen with McDermott. So this is the scenario that gets rid of McDermott for you. You want this, Jay. I know you don't, but deep down, this is what you need to happen.
Well, one more broken team before we move on, and you guys are probably gonna say what, and they disagree with me, but hear me out. The last 2 years, who was one of the favored teams that should have made it to the Super Bowl in the NFC and didn't make it?
San Francisco.
Lions.
The Detroit Lions. So you've got a window there before it closes. So fast forward to this year. They played Kansas City on the road. They looked bad. They were never really in that game. They played Green Bay on the road. The first game of the year, they looked bad. Now they're going to Philly. If they lose to Philly on the road again and they have 3 road losses and they show that they can't play on the road and play a quality game, they're stacking up losses, boys, which means they're going to be on the road come playoff time. And if they can't win on the road, they have no shot. So broken teams, 3 years in a row, if you've got a team of their caliber and they don't make it to at least one Super Bowl, I'd say they're a broken team.
And don't you think they're pushing the panic button just a little bit with Campbell taking over the play calling duties?
Is that the problem?
I'm not saying it's the problem, but doesn't that sound like a panic button?
I
They're
just
like
asking a
world
question.
beaters when they're indoors on carpet. But when you put them outside in the elements, they're a totally different.
That's the way a lot of dome teams have been throughout the years. So,
Well, that's what cost Minnesota.
Here's the thing is the dome thing is going away because in the next 15 years, every team's going to be in a frickin' dome.
yeah.
Including our Bears. So, I mean, there's going to be a rare handful of teams that's going to have an outdoor stadium. Everybody else, I mean, I could see Miami going to one because it's just miserable there in September and October trying to go to a game. But they're all going to domes.
You look at Detroit, though. You just look at the schedule. When Detroit's playing at home, you're thinking to yourself, oh, God, they're going to dog stomp them. But when they're on the road, they're just a totally different team. Gibbs, you put him at home on the carpet,
Yeah.
one-man wrecking crew. You get him outside on natural grass, he's not near the running back that he is at home.
Right. That's true.
They beat Baltimore at Baltimore before Baltimore fell apart. They beat the Bungles outside. They lost to the Chiefs. They beat the Commanders, the Redskins. So I guess we'll see. They have only got two outdoor games left. They got the Eagles, and then they have the Bears in the last week of the season. They only have 2 outdoor games left.
Good. It'll be good and cold by then. Super Bowl teams, real quick. I mean, I definitely think going back to what you said, Brett, I think it's going to be Kansas City, New England in the championship game on the AFC side. And to answer your question, Jay, that you asked, I think Buffalo is probably the wild card, and they, probably the loss in the division series, the division game, is as far as I can see Buffalo going this year if they make it that far. And on the NFC side, probably a Philly
Seattle,
Philly.
Philly Rams.
I say
Philly
Philly
Rams.
Rams.
You know,
Philly
Philly
Rams.
Rams. You know, so I mean, those are kind of the four teams that I see that are going to have the shot. Does anybody disagree with that?
And if you remember last year, LA had to go to Philly, and the weather was crappy, and they damn near pulled it off anyway.
Yeah.
That's why this game is so important for the Rams this weekend to beat Seattle, because if LA can pull off the home field advantage, now they bring Philly to LA, which totally changes that game from an offensive perspective for the Rams.
Jay, man, if that happens, I'm coming on the show live in ugly ass black and orange. Hey, we're going to hold you to that, Jay. So remember what was said. All right, let's get into the games then. First game up, Chicago. You're tied for first place. Chicago Bears, 6-3. At Minnesota, 4-5. Minnesota's a 3.5-point favorite. I'm taking Minnesota.
I thought you'd have done this game last.
Ed puts them in. I don't. Brett, who you got?
I want to go last. Give me Minnesota because I want to. I don't want to jinx the Bears, so maybe give me Minnesota.
Chad?
Yeah, because I usually pick wrong on the show. So
You know something? I'm going to shock the world. I'm going to say Chicago.
Oh my God, we're screwed for sure. God dang it!
I'm not gonna lie, I feel pretty good too. That's why I think we are screwed.
I don't feel good. I just.
I mean, no, we are who we think we are. I mean,
I think that JJ had one amazing quarter. Otherwise, we beat him last time.
But this isn't Minnesota. It's a different animal.
Is it?
So we'll see. We'll see.
So,
Ed, you're taking Minnesota, right?
I want to throw a couple stats out there.
Let's hear him.
Here we go.
Because, as we talk about,
he is an accountant.
The Vikings having a roster that's built to win now, but they just don't have the quarterback to make it happen. You can say that, but let's talk about one of the other players that I think has totally been a complete bust. You've got TJ Hawkinson. And back in the day, the Vikings gave up a 4th-round draft pick to trade for him from Detroit. And they ended up giving him an extension. So he's making $17.125 million a year, which equates to $1 million a game. Over the last 3 games, TJ Hawkinson has a total of 6 catches for 45 yards. So having said that, if you say $1 million per game, he's getting paid $500,000 per catch. And he's getting paid $67,000 for every yard that he gained for the Vikings.
I forget, where did he play his college ball at?
It was a Midwest team.
Yeah, I think it ends in Iowa.
But here's the question. Is it that TJ's not getting open, or is it the offensive line is so decimated, they're keeping him in to block, and so you end up having a $17 million offensive lineman, basically.
I think it's 2 things, Ed. I think it's the offensive line is hurting, but more than that, I think it's JJ and Addison are priority 1 and priority 2, and he's priority 3.
$67,000 are paying TJ per yard. $500,000 per catch.
It's a good gig if you can get it.
Don't worry, Ed. Don't worry. He'll have 120 yards and 2 touchdowns this weekend.
But having said that, give me the Vikings because I want to wear. I gotta wear my same gig two times in a year. You guys won't be able to take it. What'd KJ say?
Did he message me? KJ did not message me.
Yeah, so I see how this goes. Be like Eric last year.
Oh
Picking
yeah.
games on Sunday morning and then trying
Gotta get the injury reports. Next game, LA Chargers 7-3 at Jacksonville 5-4. Jacksonville is a 2.5-point favorite at home. Ed, you chose this game. Who you got?
Jacksonville. It floors me they're even favored in this game because to me Jacksonville is frauds. So I don't care whether they're playing at home or not. I think the Chargers go out there and get win number 8. Give me the Chargers.
I am taking the Chargers as well. Chad, I know you love A-Bear. So.
Yeah, West Coast team traveling east, all the way
for a noon game.
For a noon game in the humidity of Jacksonville, Florida. Give me the Jaguars.
Oh, and just to catch everybody up, this makes me even more nervous. It was a clean sweep for Chicago on the message board. Ugh. Whatever. Who you got?
Oh,
Brett?
God. You guys tune in. Come next Wednesday because I'm going full-fledged wig this time.
Brett, who you got?
Sorry, Chad. Give me the Jaguars.
Ooh, I hope that's a good sign for us. Next game.
I did go 9-3 last week, so it's time for me to go sub 500 this week.
Well, I'm with you.
Seattle 7-2 at the Rams 7-2. The Rams are 3.5-point favorites. Chad, who you got?
Give me them horns, baby. Give me the Rams.
I am taking the Rams as well, even though I do. Seattle's firing, man. We'll see. Brett?
Seattle has been a very, very, very impressive team. But this game's not in Seattle, although, they'll probably have half the fans in the stands. Give me the Rams.
Ed?
Give me the Sean McVays, baby. I think this is going to be the week that they show that you're going to see the difference between Matt Stafford and Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold shows up this week half a season earlier than he did last year.
Jay's got the Rams. The Chargers were a sweep. Jay's got the Rams. Henry's got the Rams. And Big Mike's got Seattle. Next game, Kansas City 5-4, 3.5-point favorites at the Broncos 8-2. Which Kansas City team is going to show up, Brett?
Two things. This is reminds me of Eric. This is a must-win for Kansas City. They must win. And you got Patrick Mahomes versus Bo Nix. I know Denver's at home. They play well at home. They've got a good defense. Give me Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes.
I have Kansas City as well. Ed?
I know Chad loves it when you say must win, but everybody always wants to talk about Kansas City's the favorite to go back. Kansas City's the favorite to go back, and you hear the conversation, is this a must win for KC or is it a must win for Denver? It's not a must win for Denver because if they lose, there's still 3 losses. If Kansas City loses this game somehow and they go to 5 losses, they're going to be hitting the panic button on will they make the playoffs, period. So to me, this is a must win for Kansas City. So give me KC.
I love how you guys use my must win. You make fun of it all the time, but you sure are throwing it out there a lot here to justify your picks. Chad?
All right, Brett. Let's do it with me, baby. Do it with me. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh my God. And it looks like everybody goes with Kansas City except Big Mike. He's going with the Denver upset. The Sunday night game, Detroit 6-3 at Philadelphia 6-2. Philly is a 2.5-point favorite at home. I'm assuming, Ed, you're taking Philly.
I think Detroit seals their fate as being a playoff road team. And I think that's going to seal their fate that they're once again going to have a disappointing end of their season. I'm taking Philly.
Chad?
Fly, Eagles, fly, baby. They're going to throw the ball to A.J. Brown.
I have Philly as well. You, Brett?
A.J. Brown has at least 8 catches.
My brother's a freaking bandwagon Eagles fan, and I hate their damn fans. Give me the Lions, one pride.
Damn, Brett, you got yourself out on an island here on a couple games. That's good.
Yeah,
bud.
Mike.
I like that.
You're Mike Jr., man. What's up with that?
Looks like Jay's got Philly, Henry's got Detroit, and Big Mike has Philly by 10. Ooh, we shall see. But just to leave Ed with a little tidbit here. What was
Wait, hold on. Who's the Monday night game?
It must not be an anything game because Ed didn't put it up there.
Who's playing?
I don't know who has the Monday night game. I guess I can find out real quick.
Just a second.
Just curious.
Monday night's Packers.
Cowboys Raiders. Cowboys Raiders.
Well, that was the wrong week.
My God.
Like, there's a reason Ed doesn't have that up there.
Eddie, what you gonna do today? I got my A game. You got your A game?
A game?
He got his A game.
I'd shut that off. I mean,
Boy, just for Marty, just for poor Marty and Bill and all my Cowboys buddies.
I mean, there it is, boys. Through 8 games, or that's through 8 games. It's looking pretty good. I don't know. Yards per game up almost 100. Pass yards per game up 50. Rush yards per game up 32. Sacks allowed cut in half. I don't know.
Let's put it this way. The only way I'm going to feel comfortable in the game this weekend is if Minnesota is up by 3 scores with 2 minutes left. That's the only way I'm going to feel
Listen.
comfortable.
I thought you were going to say if Jolene put in the small plug this time. I thought. Sorry. You were going that way. I was going that way.
Don't worry, Ed. Listen, because I'm pretty piped into Chicago, I got a snapshot of the Bears defense walking out to practice. Minnesota's going to be fine because here's the Bears defense going out to practice. So as the struggles of J.J. McCarthy continue, he's going to get back on track because the Bears defense is going to show up looking like this, and you'll be just fine.
Hey, number 5 kind of resembled Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, no doubt. Actually, Aaron Rodgers needed number 90's Walker for 2 games. I don't know.
Everybody who is watching this weekend, go to our page, give us a like, give us a follow. We appreciate you joining us every week. We have a ball doing this show, but we're hoping that you guys like it too. But just keep one thing in mind when Minnesota in the Minnesota and Chicago game. Every time TJ Hawkinson catches a pass, it's worth $500,000. Every time you see him take one step on the field, it's worth $67,000.
Oh, Jay did have the Lions. Yeah, Jay, I don't have any Bills gear, but I mean, maybe we could make that happen. I don't know. We'll see.
For winning a playoff game, Jay, that's how you have your
Playoff.
I mean,
you just win a playoff game.
Yeah,
Dude,
I mean,
you should be like, we're going to the Super Bowl with the last 7 seasons you've had, Super Bowl or bust, and now you're just like begging. You sound like a Bears fan. We just want We just want a one playoff win. That's all we want.
Big Mike, I don't think Ed can really indulge in a lot of drinking at this point, but I can tell you one thing. If this weekend doesn't work out for him, because the Bears fans on this show have already accepted our fate. We're just having fun with it because we are actually in first place right now.
Right.
He has not accepted his fate. If they lose this game this weekend, he is going to be inconsolable, and he is.
Yeah, he'll be quiet.
Yeah,
He'll
but,
just be quiet in the chat.
here's going to be the chat line this weekend. Oh my God, the Bears suck. I can't believe we're losing to the Vikings. Oh my God, our season is done. And then all of a sudden, bear down, baby, bear down.
See, Ed, now you know what it's like to be a Bears fan for the last 25 years. You're welcome.
Yes.
You have been brought in. You got a glimpse of what it's like to be a
Good
Bears fan,
Lord.
so now you know.
I'm going to have to mute my phone because I don't know that I can listen to you guys for
If, and this is a huge if, the Bears were somehow able to scrap one out in Minnesota, if I were you, I would mute my phone because it could get damn ugly for you.
I don't talk shit. After a win.
We
haven't done enough to.
Yeah.
It's like if Nebraska were to beat Iowa, I would just be like, "Yep, they won." It's not a rivalry because they just keep crushing us every year.
Yeah.
It's not a rivalry because Minnesota just keeps beating us every year. So,
Well, we got to have something to hang our hats on, Chad.
yeah,
I mean, it would be
it's
7-3.
got to happen more often.
So
It's going to happen
we
more
could
often.
cut time off of last week's show. We just won another 10.
Yeah. Well,
Because here goes Minnesota's window.
yeah.
That window got slammed several weeks ago. So
Last year.
Yeah. So, with that being said, I guess we got
get
it.
out of here, man.
I suppose we should call it quits. These people need to get to bed. Poor Chad. He's old. So, next Wednesday. See you then.
And that's the bottom line.